I am over the freaking moon with this news, ladies and gentlemen. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they told us it wasn't gonna happen. They told us it would not happen. They told us it would be a pipe dream for us to potentially see Rodri in a Barca shirt, that his heart and his soul is only focused on the move to Real Madrid. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's funny how things can change in a short span of 24 hours. See, 24 hours ago, ladies and gentlemen, Real Madrid fans were still dreaming of bringing Rodri to Real Madrid. They were sitting there enjoying and talking about how Rodri to Real Madrid is inevitable, moving like Thanos out here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I tell you about this? Well, Barca fans, for those of you guys who don't know, it seems that Rodri is closer to joining Barcelona than Real Madrid. Now, we know that Barcelona, we were actually showing interest in Rodri as well, right? We did inquire about Rodri, right? Because we know that, he wants to leave, he wants to return back to Spain, right? And all of the talk was that, Real Madrid was prefers destination, which a lot of people knew. So for Barcelona, it was going to be a long task to bring Rodri to Barcelona, right? But Barcelona, I will give credit where credit is due, right? We at least went and actually tried to shoot our shot. That's all we did, right? And I have to, you got to give respect to the club for that, right? At least, the club decided, instead of sitting here and, acting like it was a nigh impossibility, let's just go out there and try. Let's just attempt. And the attempt apparently was the key reason why Rodri apparently, started considering his options, because at first Real Madrid was his first and only option, right? That's the only club he wanted to join, and that was his preferred destination. That is true, right? But Barcelona going to inquire about him kind of gave him that idea of, well, okay, if this move to Real Madrid doesn't happen, at least I know Barcelona, the other big club, the other big boy in La Liga, are also interested. So we'll keep that in mind. And I was saying this about a few weeks ago, right? When I made my video of Rodri to Barcelona, and I talked about the fact that I don't think Rodri is just gonna downplay the Barcelona links. He's not, because right now we know that Real Madrid, he's wanted to join Real Madrid since the end of the last season, right? Real Madrid didn't consider him a priority at the least, not at all. They did not consider him as an option. Let's be honest. Like Barca Madrid fans, I know you guys would have wanted Rodri, but your club did not prioritize Rodri until after the World Cup. It was after the World Cup that things changed. After his performance during the knockout stages, right? That is when things started to change. Apparently, Real Madrid started to, become more and more interested in bringing Rodri to Real Madrid. And Rodri, obviously hearing this, was over the moon. He wanted the move. This is the move he always wanted. And I've always been saying, at the end of the day, I don't think Real Madrid were really, really, really interested in bringing this guy in. I don't think the club themselves prioritized Rodri. I think they wanted Rodri, but they never prioritized him. There were other players that they were looking ahead of him. And I think in the end, that's actually one of the bigger reasons why I think Rodri kind of kept the Barca links at the back of his mind, because I think he kind of understood that even though Real Madrid do want to sign him, Real Madrid are not prioritizing him. There are players like Yan Diomande who are ahead of Rodri in the pecking order when it comes to Real Madrid's priorities, right? And when it comes down to it, a player like Rodri, for the fact that he wanted this move, this is what basically is the big reason why I believe he kept us in the back of his mind. And now that Vinicius has signed a new deal, that actually, it's very interesting, because I don't know how it coincides, but it's funny how Rodri, Vini signs a new deal, and all of a sudden, the Real Madrid, negotiation with Manchester City and Rodri basically stalled after that. And I think it was that stall that kind of, broke the camel's back for Rodri. And I think that was a big reason why, in the end, he's decided, right, to basically take this opportunity to now, basically negotiate with Barca. Right? Apparently, Rodri has already spoken to Deco, right? And Hansi Flick has given the green light for Barcelona to proceed with the talks. And this is going to be very, very interesting. And I'll be honest with you guys. I was very, obviously I didn't think it was likely to happen. I do know that we were not the favorites to sign him. But now, I believe that we are the favorites to sign Rodri. I think that now we've gotten up in the pecking order, and a big reason for that, I think, is because of Rodri himself, right? I think it's Rodri himself. I think Rodri himself, I think he's genuinely a part of me might be upset with the way Real Madrid have handled this whole situation, because I think that Real Madrid do want to sign him, but really they're not willing to go all the way. They're not really, they don't really prioritize him as much as he prioritizes the move to Real Madrid, right? And sometimes, it's all about value for these players. Sometimes these players, they want to feel like the club actually wants them. The club actually needs them. The club actually prioritizes them. And I think when it comes to Rodri, for his stock, for what he creates, this guy, for me, I've already decided, he has an argument to be the greatest number 6 of all time, right? Let's be honest. A lot of people are going to say Busquets, Makalele, Kante, all these guys. Okay, right? It's debatable, but he's up there with all those greats. Right? And he's a Ballon d'Or winner, a World Cup winner, a European champion, won everything in football. Not only has he won everything in football, he's been center stage in most of the most successful moments of his club and country. So for a player of his stock, right, to be so obsessed with a move to join a club like Real Madrid, for Real Madrid to be like, okay, cool, we will sort this out. We will figure out a way to sign you. And basically just sit there and have him wait. Whereas maybe in the Barcelona situation, maybe Deco might have gone to him and given him different words. And this is another important thing to why I think that this deal could happen. Because I think that whatever the conversation was between Deco and Rodri is why Rodri probably, was looking at this deal to Real Madrid now like this. Because he was like, okay, I want to join Real Madrid. I want this move more than Real Madrid does. Real Madrid might want to sign me, but Real Madrid are not prioritizing me. I prioritize a move to Real Madrid. However, Barcelona are prioritizing a move for me. They have come to me during the time when their rivals is interested in signing me, and they're willing to go all the way to get it done. And I think that's the difference. I think the conversation with Deco might have been that Deco would have said, listen, if you want to join us, we will sign you. We will bring you in, right? Real Madrid can stall, they can take their time. We won't waste your time. When you give us the yes, we will go and negotiate with Manchester City right now. And I think in the end, that is the bigger picture. I think when it comes down to Rodri, he prefers a move to Madrid, but really I think his biggest objective is to return back to Spain. I've said this before. I think that is the thing he prioritizes the most. And joining Real Madrid was his dream move. But look, at the end of the day, it's about value. It's about value. You gotta show these players that you want them. And I don't think Real Madrid have done enough. I think the fans themselves have done a lot, right, to show how much they want this move. I think the Madrid fans really want this move to happen. But it's the difference. The fact that Real Madrid, when this move during the summer, when Rodri was available, they basically said, absolutely no, we're not interested in signing him. And then changed their mind right after he wins the World Cup. Right? And they don't really put a lot of emphasis on the move. They're looking at players like Diomande and all these guys, the Vinny contract and all these situations, right? They are prioritizing so many other players ahead of Rodri. I think in the end, that's probably one of the reasons why Rodri was kind of looking at this and saying, listen, this move might not happen with the way they're treating me. And when it comes down to it, I think Rodri is making the right decision. And let's talk about this. Bro, think about Barca's midfield when this man walks into our midfield. Rodri, Pedri, Fermin, Omo, you got a player like Bernal, who is the next big thing, learning from a player like Rodri, who's already done it in the big stage. Come on, man. Like, you would argue that we would have the best midfield in the world if we had imagine a partnership of Rodri and Pedri. Bro, it's too good, man. It is too good. And ladies and gentlemen, obviously, the move hasn't happened yet, but Barcelona now have basically gone ahead in the race to sign Rodri. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be good. Let me know what you guys think about everything I talked about in the comment section below. What do you guys think of the potential of Rodri to Real Madrid? Do you guys think it's going to happen? Or do you guys think that, Real Madrid might finally wake up when they realize that this move is going to happen? But in the end, ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes on this. We could be seeing Rodri in a Barca shirt very soon.